Happy Saturday! Guess who's back? Y'all know me. It's your girl, Dr. Shana. Listen, I am super excited to be back for another episode of Dr. Shana's Sexy Mental Health Habits as we count down Mental Health Awareness Month. We had 7 days left when I started on day one. We are now on day four, y'all. We are getting closer to the end of this month. And every day, as promised, I'm coming around 1 o'clock ish. It's Saturday, y'all. So we just, we on Saturday time today. We're a little bit later today, but super excited to be here with you today to have today's conversation around habit number 4. Okay, habit number 4 is check your front row. Now I'm about to get messy. Those of you who know me, you know I don't mind being messy. You know I don't mind telling you the truth. They say we're gonna go straight no chaser. We're about to have a real conversation about how your relationships impact your mental health and well-being. And with me to have this conversation is no one else better than my good girlfriend, Grace L. Holden. Come on in here, Grace L. Holden. How are you, darling?
I'm good. I'm good. Let's see. I just want to make sure that y'all can hear me and see me.
So get in the chat box and let us know. Can you hear Grace? Can you see Grace? We want to make sure that technology is not trying to steal the show because, the enemy really does try it these days and tries to make things difficult for us. So get in the chat box. Somebody get in the chat and say, I can hear you, Grace. I can see you, Grace. Let us know who's here, where you're watching from. I always like to know that as well, too, because I can see you and I can hear you, Grace. I'm hopeful that the audience can, too. I'm waiting on some comments to come through. So while we wait, I want to just hop into this conversation because these are real quick tips each day, y'all. So we'll be here for about 10 minutes having this conversation. So, Grace, check your front row. Check your front row. So, this is the thing that I say, and I want to hear your thoughts about it because I just believe that the people closest to you have the greatest impact on you because I always say that front row people got point blank range, right? They are up close and personal. And if there are healthy relationships, it may go well. But if they not, that could be a problem. So what are your thoughts about this, Grace? Grace is a mental health professional as well, too, and she works in this space with people all the time. So I want to hear, what do you think, Grace?
So here's what I think. I think that people that are on our front row are like the Red Sea or the Dead Sea. And you said we
Oh,
straight today. So we gonna shoot today.
okay.
So
Let's
they
go.
either Red Sea or Dead Sea. And we
Wow.
know that both bodies, both are a sea. But one is dead because whatever comes in that space is dead.
Mm,
So if you're around people that keep you dead, keep you down, keep you sad, keep you depressed, keep you anxious, keep you worried,
mm.
you might be running around with people on the Dead Sea side.
Wow.
On the Red Sea side, when Dr. Shane and I get together, she's like Red Sea. When my kids we get together, it's like Red Sea. When Tim and I get together, Red Sea. There's good people that's like Red Sea and it's thriving and ideas are
Mm-hmm.
generating and we laughing and we cracking up and we gelling. Check your
Mm-hmm.
C's.
Oh, check your seas. I love that. Red
Check
Sea or
those.
Dead Sea. Mm, mm, That's a word right there. So here's the thing. I think sometimes folks don't even realize that they got the Dead Sea around them. So, Grace, how do people know if their relationships are in the Dead Sea and that they're really not healthy? How do they know?
There are so one things that happens on the Dead Sea side is because it's hard to tell because you can float in the Dead Sea. You may think that things are going okay, but it is a heavy weight. You
Mm,
see, there's no outlet on the Dead Sea side. So yourself to see if you can and feel safe. If you could go to them and know that they have your best interest at heart and you're not just a weight or floating on the on the Red Sea side, it's there's kick it, it's not this headache afterward. It's fun, but after you got, a little bit of a headache sometimes, because some people may kick it a little bit too much. So just pay attention to the signs.
And so, how you feel, the energy that it takes from you or adds to you, that's really important. So, what about how it affects your emotional and mental well being? What happens if you're not careful and you have too many Dead Sea folks around you? What would you say it does to your mental health?
That affect mental health the most, right? Depression and anxiety. So go up with people you're not supposed to be around. And if you're not a gossip yourself, talking to people, you'll be gossiping a minute, right? I'm not
Mm-hmm.
sure. What do you think? And if you're not doing with other people, you're going to be running that play in your head.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I don't know. Does not feel right, but I really like them. I really want to be friends, besties, but it don't feel right. And a
Mm-hmm.
lot of times we'll get flags and we will ignore. Anxiety and worry is up all the time, and you'll blame it on the people in your circle. Pay attention to this. And in an emotional state, signs come by action that we choose to ignore.
Mm. Okay. And so what we're saying is if we're emotionally becoming depressed or anxious, we are feeling heavy or weighted when we're in conversation with people, in relationship with people, then that may be one you need to be checking into. I mean, I tell folks that spring cleaning can happen in the summer, the winter, or the fall. It don't matter the season. Sometimes you need to clean house just a little bit, tidy up some things so that you have the right energy around you, because otherwise it will create negative outcomes. And people would say, well, you can't blame other people for your emotional state. And no, you can't say I'm depressed because of you or I'm anxious because of you. But other people absolutely do influence your moods, because if they're in your space and it's negative, then it's absolutely going to take from you. And that's a choice you get to make. You just do. And so I just think it's so important for us to understand that the relationships that we have with other people are majorly important to our mental health. When we're talking about the sexy habits, I want us to make sure we look at who is surrounding us and who do we have in our head. Because the people closer to you are in your head, because when you're spending time with them, their energy is exchanged. So I'm giving energy and they're giving energy, and it's going to be exchanged positively or negatively. So, Grace, if someone realizes that they got somebody in their world who's in the Dead Sea, that they're creating negative energy, they're taking from them, can you just give them one quick tip on how can they address it so that they can shift how that relationship looks? If they need to end it, perhaps, I don't know, what would be the one thing you would tell them to do or think about if they need to change a relationship that's negative and impacting their mental health?
Yeah, I would say check yourself first, because oftentimes we don't address the negativity that's around us and we ignore it. And then, of course, we make our own choices to continue down that path. So I would say do an internal and tell yourself to sit. Whole hashtag the silence ends. And then you
Mm-hmm.
go to them, you let them know exactly what's going on with inside of yourself, that's impacted by the relationship with them, and be strong enough to hold to your decision. It's
Okay.
communication is key. When we
Mm-hmm.
ignore it, it becomes toxic. When we don't communicate it clearly, they don't get it outward.
Got you. Okay. So this is about being assertive. This is about dealing with it, but checking in with yourself first before you go. But if you need to go, be confident enough to go for sure. And if you missed about how to be confident, then we talked about that yesterday on my summit. That was 5.5 hours long. It was amazingly powerful summit. And we talked about building confidence through taking care of ourselves. So you got to have that when you're dealing with these relationships so you can assert yourself. Thank you so much, Grace, for sharing those thoughts. Again, this was just a quick drop in the bucket. I want to continue to have this conversation for the next couple of days as we count down Mental Health Awareness Month. I also want to invite all of you to, if you have not attended one of my Self-Care is the New Sexy master classes, please make sure you find yourself there on June the 2nd. And you can register at selfcareisthenewsexy.com. It is a free masterclass. We're going to spend 90 minutes together figuring out how to get our sexy back. You want to make sure you're there. So, Grace L. Holden, thank you so much for being here this afternoon and spending a little bit of your Saturday with us, helping us with the sexy habits of checking our front row. All right. All right, ladies, have a amazing rest of your weekend. And I will see you all on tomorrow for the next episode of Dr. Shana's 7 Sexy Self-Care Habits, as not self-care habits, mental health habits, as we count down Mental Health Awareness Month. All right. Y'all take care. Bye-bye.